Thank you for watching My News 26. I'm Paula Jasper. Today we're in Mackinaw City, and joining me is Lisa Pileggi, the Executive Director of the Icebreaker Mackinaw Museum. Thanks for joining me, Lisa.
Oh, thank you for visiting us.
Start with the history of the ship.
10 days after the bombing at Pearl Harbor, money was allocated for the ship to go into service. They realized that the lakes needed to stay open, especially during the winter time, to get the commodities from the upper lakes to the lower lakes, iron ore, steel, and all that. So in December of 1944, the ship was commissioned, which means it was put into service, and it started its mission as that. It served for 62 years, doing exactly what its intent was, which was keeping the shipping lanes open, also helping vessels in distress, and also did some public relations throughout those years. And then after 62 years of service, it was decommissioned in 2006.
Interesting. Okay, tell us a little bit about the ship itself. What was the size of the crew, etc.?
You know, it varied. It could have been as much as about 130 people and as little as 80. It depended. And then in 2000, it allowed women on board, so it became a co-ed ship.
And how did you acquire the ship?
Well, prior to the decommissioning in 2006, they were trying to figure out what to do with the ship. Well, they wanted to keep it in Sheboygan, but unfortunately, which is the home port, they didn't have a place to put it. They got a hold of some people here in Mackinaw City, which found a dock, found out that it was structurally okay for it, and so they brought it here. So basically, it was the nonprofit organization that was formed and brought the ship here to turn it into a museum. So the nicest part is when they decommissioned the ship, they pretty much left everything here. So personal things left, perishable things left, but everything stayed. So probably our biggest challenge was trying to make a route. And as you walked around today, I think you found that it's like sometimes you go, where do you go? Even though we have arrows and lines to keep you, I always say, you know, if they built a ship knowing that it was going to be used for a museum later on, boy, it sure would be nice to make our life a lot easier.
What can people expect on the tour?
Well, to start with, I think that one of the nicest things is when they board the vessel, they're greeted by a volunteer. People come on board. The first room they go into is the ward room, which is more of a captain and officers area. We have a short DVD that gives a little history of the ship and a little video of how to walk around the ship to be safe. The next area after that is walking through some hallways. There's the chief's mess, there's an executive officer's room, and you saw when we were down there, there's a little sign that says, you know, pretend you're the executive officer and you can have your picture taken. So, and there was people doing that, which I thought was kind of neat. The next thing you do is you go down one level, and that's a birthing level. So we show different areas and different groups who stayed in different areas, how that worked out. Between engineering, women's birthing. The next level down is with Space 2. There's 3 engine rooms on the ship that all have 2 engines in each. We go right into the middle one. It just seems to be one you can walk around the best. Huge locomotive engines. When you come back up, you go back through the birthing again, you come out in the mess deck. That's where they ate. We take you to the galley. The next area is sick bay or health services, and that was an Eagle Scout project. A really nice young man came in. He got 2 mannequins, which sometimes freaks people out a little bit when they come around this little corner. It does me sometimes in the morning too. And he has the 2 of them in there, kind of doing a little doctoring, little exam kind of deal, in a video with the interview of the last gal who was the health service coordinator. After you leave there, we have a little education station outside, and we have a lot of clothing that we put together, and adults and kids alike like to use it because it's like dresses a coastie. That's a little fun area. And then we have a display of knots and then how people can learn how to do, you know, basic knots and nautical type sailor knots. We have a ship store, a little retail area for souvenirs. Then you go outside and go on the weather deck and the upper decks. That'll take you up to the pilot house, the navigation room, conning towers, and then as you work your way down, it brings you to where we are here, which is the captain's quarters, captain's stateroom, office, and some dignitary rooms on that side. And then pretty much after they leave here, they can just wander around on the upper and lower decks of the vessel.
Now, since you're a nonprofit, I know you hold fundraisers. What's the one upcoming?
We do. We have a really great one. It's a 5 to 7 day cruise on a Great Lakes freighter. The fleet company has given us passage for 2 that'll take place in the summer of 2016. You can't buy a trip like this. No one can do it. It's a connection or something that they give to people. The drawing is going to be in May 31st of next year. Tickets are $20 a piece or 3 for $50, and you can purchase tickets through our website, www.themackinaw.org.
This is a great place. Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Paula, Jasper, -26 in Mackinaw City.